In the intricate tapestry of global alliances, where loyalty is often prized above all else, a startling narrative is unfolding. It's a story set against the backdrop of quaint canals and historic windmills, a place long seen as a bastion of liberalism and free trade. This is the Netherlands, a nation that for decades has stood shoulder to shoulder with the United States, a steadfast partner in a world of shifting geopolitical sands. Yet beneath the surface of this enduring alliance, a current of discontent is growing, a sense of betrayal that threatens to redefine a relationship forged over generations. This isn't just a tale of diplomatic friction. It's an investigation into how a loyal friend can be left feeling abandoned, their economic sovereignty challenged by the very partner they sought to support. We're going to unravel the story of how the Netherlands, champion of open markets, now finds itself caught in the crossfire of a global economic war, questioning the price of its allegiance. The story begins in the bustling port of Rotterdam, the largest in Europe and a testament to Dutch mercantile prowess for centuries. It's a place where the gospel of free trade isn't just an economic theory. It's etched into the very DNA of the nation. For generations, the Netherlands built its prosperity on the free flow of goods, capital, and ideas, becoming a pivotal hub in the globalized world championed by the United States, when Washington called for a united front. Whether in diplomatic coalitions or economic sanctions against perceived adversaries, The Hague consistently answered. The Dutch government, reflecting the will of a nation deeply embedded in the transatlantic alliance, dutifully aligned its policies with those of its powerful ally across the ocean. This alignment was seen not as a sacrifice but as a strategic necessity, reinforcement of the liberal international order that had guaranteed peace and prosperity for decades. This loyalty was put to the test, and nowhere more starkly than with the implementation of sweeping sanctions against Russia and the escalating tech war with China. The Netherlands, home to ASML, a world-leading manufacturer of the photolithography machines essential for producing advanced semiconductors, found itself on the front lines. At the behest of the United States, the Dutch government imposed stringent export controls, effectively cutting off China's access to this critical technology. The move was framed as a matter of national and international security, a necessary step to prevent a strategic rival from gaining a technological edge. Dutch officials defended the decision as a show of solidarity, a difficult but essential contribution to the collective security of the West. They accepted the economic hit, trusting that their sacrifice was part of a shared strategy, a burden borne together with their closest allies. But as the dust settled, a different picture began to emerge, one that sowed seeds of doubt and resentment in the fertile Dutch soil. While the Netherlands was restricting its own golden goose, ASML, from accessing a lucrative market, American semiconductor firms appeared to be operating under a different set of rules. Reports began to circulate, backed by trade data, showing that U.S. companies like NVIDIA and Intel were continuing, and in some cases even expanding, their sales of certain types of chips to China. It seemed that while the Dutch were asked to make a significant sacrifice by crippling their most valuable tech companies' export potential, American competitors were finding ways to navigate and even profit from the new landscape. The restrictions imposed on ASML were absolute and targeted the foundational technology, while the rules for American firms seemed more porous, allowing for the continued sale of finished products. This apparent double standard sent a shockwave through the Dutch political and business establishments. It felt less like a coordinated strategy among allies and more like a calculated move by the United States to hobble a foreign competitor while advantaging its own domestic industry. The feeling was one of exploitation. The Netherlands had dutifully played its part, upholding the sanctions regime at great cost to its own economic interests, only to watch its American allies seemingly reap the benefits. The narrative of a united Western front began to fray, replaced by a more cynical interpretation that the language of national security was being used as a cover for aggressive economic protectionism. In the corridors of power in The Hague and in the boardrooms of Dutch multinationals, a troubling question began to be asked. Was their loyalty being repaid with betrayal? The economic consequences for the Netherlands extend far beyond the tech sector. The sanctions on Russia, which the Netherlands faithfully enforced, gave long-standing energy and trade relationships, contributing to an energy crisis and inflation that hit Dutch households and industries hard. As a trading nation, the Netherlands was disproportionately affected by the disruption to global supply chains. Yet, as the Dutch economy absorbed these shocks, it watched the United States enact the Inflation Reduction Act (IRA), a massive package of subsidies designed to bolster American green industries. European leaders, including those in the Netherlands, cried foul, arguing that the IRA was a protectionist measure that unfairly disadvantaged foreign companies and risked luring investment away from Europe to the United States. For the Dutch, it was another bitter pill to swallow. They'd borne the economic brunt of sanctions intended to support a transatlantic agenda, only to see their main ally erect new trade barriers that threatened their own economic future. The promise of a level playing field, a core tenet of the free trade ideology the Netherlands had so long championed, seemed to be vanishing. The sense of a shared journey was replaced by the stark realization that, in this new era of great power competition, it was every nation for itself. And in that contest, the Netherlands, despite its economic might, felt like a junior partner whose interests were ultimately expendable. The story of the Netherlands is a microcosm of a larger, more profound shift in the global order. It is the story of a world where the lines between ally and competitor are blurring, where the rhetoric of shared values often masks the pursuit of national interest. The Dutch experience serves as a cautionary tale for other middle powers who have long placed their faith in the transatlantic alliance. It raises fundamental questions about the nature of loyalty and the meaning of partnership in the 21st century. Can an alliance truly be one of equals when one partner can unilaterally dictate economic policy that benefits itself at the expense of its friends? As the sun sets over the canals of Amsterdam, a new realism is dawning. The Netherlands, once a poster child for American-led globalization, is now navigating a world it no longer fully recognizes. The unwavering faith in free trade has been tempered by the harsh reality of economic warfare, and the steadfast loyalty to its most powerful ally has been shaken by a perceived betrayal. This is not the end of the alliance, but it is a fundamental reassessment of its terms. The Dutch are learning a hard lesson, that in the grand chessboard of global politics, even the most loyal pieces can be sacrificed. And so, the nation that taught the world about free trade is now being forced to learn how to survive in a world where economic walls are being built. Higher and higher, often by the very architects of the open world they once so eagerly embraced. The winds of change are blowing through the windmills, carrying with them a message of caution and a quiet, resolute determination to forge a new path in an uncertain world.